morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Oxford United Methodist Church on this beautiful day. Thank you for coming. It's so nice to see all of you. We have a couple announcements, but first, if you see the friendship pads, please sign. Let us know that you're here. We'd love to know who's here. And second, you'll see the joy and concern cards in there during the offering. If you would kindly come up, drop them right here in front of me, and I'd love to read it to the congregation during that time. With that said, we have a couple announcements. I'll turn it over to Fred.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yesterday we had our kickoff for the regional crop walk, which is going to be held on May the 18th. And you'll be hearing more and more about this as the weeks come and go. But we'll be setting up a table downstairs and we'll be going over some of the other information around crop walk and the needs for it. But I want to point out one of the things that our district representative made clear to us yesterday, that CWS, which is Christian World Services, they are the sponsor for the national crop walks across the country, and they are in some very dire straits right now. And crop walk and the funds needed for that are desperately needed. Many of you may or may not know what's going on with some of the aid services. But what happens in these disasters, like here in the United States, and I'll use just the United States as an example here. When a disaster happens like in West Virginia and like the fires in California, many of these organizations, relief organizations such as Christian World Services, such as the Catholic Relief Services and disaster recovery, etc., they spring into action and they go to these locations and they help out with people who may have been in a flood and they need to have some temporary housing, or they have some other items, to get by for the next few weeks or the next month or so. These organizations, they provide that. And then at the end, they have, throughout the year, they have contracts with USAID. And as many may or not know, USAID has been pretty much stripped. So Christian World Services has been providing these relief donations and activities through some of their funds, and then they will invoice USAID to the tune of, they had for the last half of the year, $27 million that they had invoiced to USAID, and USAID, the federal government, said, we're not paying that, it's all on you. So they've stripped their staff, they've downsized dramatically, and they still are trying their best to support some of these disaster organizations and help, but they need Crop Walk and other organizations to help out to fill some of that gap that USAID has been providing to not just worldwide, but to people here in the United States. Another thing is food banks. Now, food banks, how they operate and work is, so many of the farmers across the country, they don't have excess crops or crops that weren't identified and to be sold. So what they'll do is they will donate those to the local food banks. All they ask in return is that you pay for the shipping costs. Well, CWS and other organizations, they provide those shipping costs to the farmers to at least get the product to the food banks. Now again, they invoice that to USAID. USAID is no longer paying for that. All of those transportation costs are dropping. Many of the food banks are closing down because they do not have food coming in because the farmers can't afford to transport as well as just pay for it free. So it makes an emphasis here that CWS and crop walks are desperately needed. And we'll be going over this again. I'll probably mention it to it. But I do want to point out that there's a great need here in this country alone to help in some of these disaster areas, and that we can help out by doing crop walks. So, thank you.
Thank you, Fred. And Pauline has something to say to the congregation.
Good morning.
Welcome to everyone. I just thought I'd update everyone as to why Pastor is not here this morning. He had a procedure, and his doctor is suggesting that he takes a few days to rest. He's doing fine, but you know, it would be important to be rested. So he sends blessings and greetings to all of you, and welcome to you this morning. So we will see him next week. Take care.
And we have our great substitute guest speaker, Pastor Gene. Thank you so much, Pastor Gene, for stepping in on such short notice. Incredible short notice. You're the best. Okay, so please stand as you are able and join the praise singers in Guide Me, O Thou Great Jehovah, page 127, verses 1 through 3. Please join me in the gathering. Seek God and thirst for the Lord, for God's steadfast love is sweeter than honey and more satisfying than the finest bread. The table is set, the banquet is laid.
Our souls hunger and thirst for God.
Our gracious host welcomes us here.
God's steadfast love is better than life.
Sing for joy in the shadow of God's wings.
In the courage and praise of the living God.
You may be seated. And now I'd like to introduce Carolyn Lowry for the Word for God's Children.
She probably doesn't know where that is. She's downstairs. Yeah, she was turning it on. I got it.
Good morning, kids of all ages. We're going to have a little visual word with God today. Actually, I want to park in front of the cross. That doesn't seem quite right. All right. Hello, everybody. I can't remember your name. I'm sorry. Miles. We know Miles. Okay. How many of you know what seeds are? Do we use seeds to plant flowers, grass, corn? Pretty much everything, right? That we eat or grow? What's in the other? So these are just some seeds. They're bird seeds, but they're seeds. They're sunflowers and all kinds of fun stuff in here. Well, today's lesson is actually the hiccups. They're cute. All right, today's lesson, hi Miles. Today's lesson is Mark 4, verse 3 through 8, although we're kind of going to talk a little bit about all of Mark. I can't get on the ground with you guys, but I would if I could. Jesus was talking to so many people that you know what he had to do? He went on a boat, and he went in the water, and he talked to all the people who were on the beach, the sand around him, the land. That way he could talk to everyone. Miles is like, I got this lesson down pat. Yeah. Here we go. So today we're going to talk about what Jesus talked about. And he gave us a parable. That's like how Jesus talks to us. Who knows what a parable is? Now, it's a story that tells us kind of another story. If I was talking to you about something you've never heard of, if I was from NASA and I was an astronaut, and I was going to tell you all these wonderful things, but I'd have to explain it to you on something that you're familiar with, right? Wouldn't I have to say, look up in the stars and those are planets and things like that? I'd have to make it so you could understand it. That's what a parable is. Parable is a short story, and it talks about things that we understand so we can understand the message that Jesus tells. So, I'm going to give you each this sheet, maybe not everybody, and it's going to have little pictures. I'll give you that one. Sorry about that. My flexibility days are not here. Let me give you that one. And we'll just let the sides, I don't know if you want one. Okay, so what we have is up in the upper right-hand corner. What's that look like? Is that Jesus on a boat at the water? And that's my drawing, so I'm not that good, but I think you kind of get the idea. He's talking to the people, and he's telling them a parable. And today's parable teaches us about soils. What's a term for soil? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure I can get up from that either. Thank you. So he's going to talk about a farmer who plants seeds. But he's not really talking about a farmer, is he, Miles? No. He's talking about Jesus is the farmer. And who knows what sow means? You're probably our oldest person here. Of course, Miles won't know. Do you know what S-O-W, sow, means? No. Do you know what S-E-W, sow, means? It means to sew up your clothes or fix a hole in your knee or something like that, right? Well, that's not what sow, S-O-W, means. When you sow a seed, you plant it. You take a seed, and you stick it in the dirt, you push it down, and you've sowed a seed. It's just a different word. So when he plants the seeds, that's Jesus talking to us. That's the Word of God. So, nice to see you. I thought you were camping. So in the very first story, let me back up. The soil in these stories is all of us. Every single person here and all over the face of the earth. Because the soil are the different kinds of people. And the different kinds of people that hear Jesus' word. So in this first picture, they threw the seeds on the cement or on the ground, on the path. And so, here's my path. I'm going to put this here. pinch full of seeds and put them on the path. And what would happen? Say, if a bird came along or a wind came along, would those start growing plants or anything? No, they'd be gone, right? Okay, so that's the first story. That's your first box. The second one talks if the seeds are planted on dry, cracked ground. What's that? Dry, cracked ground. Kind of hard too, isn't it? What happens if you guys put some seeds? Did I take them? Yes, I did. Oh no! What happens if you guys put seeds on that? Do you think that will grow? And then the sun's out, it's going to bake that. It's not really very good for growing, is it? No. So what if we had nice ground, we had dirt, and we had all kinds. We'll move our bird and our dirt. But we now have, thorny weeds. Thorny weeds usually have pretty darn sharp thorns. Now don't touch these. You see how sharp that is? And they spread, don't they? Well, you know what? Their roots spread underground. And if I were to take those seeds, go ahead and take a finger of seeds, drop it in there. There you go. You're mine. Do you think our seeds would thrive in here? No, they wouldn't thrive, would they? So let's pretend. I'm going to take our thorns and put them over here. And this is my shamrock plant from home. He didn't like the cold today. Do you think if you guys took a couple pinches of seeds and put them in there, it would grow? It probably would. I don't know what it will grow, but it will grow. And you know why? Because what's in the bottom of that? Soil. Good, rich, black soil, right? Yeah. Well, that is our story. So, what? That's the thorns. See all the thorns? And that came through and choked out all of the good word. So, on the back side, you guys can take these home. Hard ground, these are the people who hear the word, but do not know that if it's real, they don't really want to take the time to listen. Rocky ground, these are the people who hear the word. They receive it with joy, but they don't really want to change their lives, and certainly don't want to face persecution. Thorny ground, these people hear the word, but they're distracted by the world, the riches, and the greed, which chokes the word from them. Good ground. These are the people who hear the word, understand it, live their lives to the best of their ability, the way Jesus tells us to, with faith, hope, and what, guys? Faith, hope, and love. Good job. All right. Well, thank you very much. You can, okay, if you'd like to go back and sit with your folks, I thank you for hanging out with me for a few minutes.
Thank you, Carolyn. We now come to the time of our offering, and as Fred told you, there's many ministries that we support, so I would like to thank you for your love our thanks. Loving God, you have set the table before us, given us every good thing. In gratitude for your kindness and mercy, receive our gifts and our offerings. Accept